the fact that we ended up rescuing 1,900 people out of Afghanistan, we couldn't conceive of that 30 years ago. But every step of obedience along the way prepared us for that and continues to prepare us for what's in the future.
I am so glad you're hitting on this. This is the thing that drives me. And that is, we are stronger than we realize, both physically, emotionally, spiritually. But we get uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. Obedience is not easy. Going into risk, doing something that's not fun is not easy. There should be a natural tension there, because that tension is God's way of making us be awake, right? That fight or flight, if you want to use that, but your adrenaline's going, you're paying attention. And that's really critical, because when God calls you into places, it doesn't take away the risk.
No.
But he expects us to fully go in believing, being ready, being prepared. As an organization, we're prepared. We're ready for these things. We're keeping ourselves physically fit. We're keeping ourselves emotionally fit, spiritually fit. We have to do our job to show up. But then when God puts you into something, and every man and every woman needs this 100 times in their life, you get put into a situation that you have a greater chance of failing at it than you do well, but yet you go at it.
Yeah.
And what you learn in there is that we're stronger, we can do more. So where we've come, it looks like we're a big ministry. We have big impact. There's people in the highest levels of governments around the globe that talk about us. But it all started with all this hard work when nobody was watching. I like to say that we worked really hard for 20 years to look like an overnight success.
Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know why I just thought of this right now, I never thought about it. It's like compound interest. You start with something small, but obedience and faithfulness to God kind of becomes compound interest. So then, the Lord begins to grow and expand. We see that with Jesus. He gave them 5 talents and they stewarded it well, and he gave them 10 talents, got 10 talents. Right. The problem is, we don't want to talk about it. And Jesus tells the story of the guy who had 1 talent and who was scared, he buried and did nothing, and he got rebuked. I think that is so true of so much of the body of Christ. Is either they're lazy, they're afraid, whatever reason, they do nothing with what God's given them.
To make it as a Navy SEAL, you have to make it through Hell Week. There's other things involved in that, but you've got to be in the water, freezing, almost hypothermia. It's cold, lifting up a boat, your body's giving up. You got to make it through all that so that you can realize that you're actually stronger. To be a special operator requires that you realize that you can do the supernatural. Well, if that works in the physical and that works in the most elite divisions of our military, why shouldn't that be the absolute mindset of every Christian, that I need to be put into the water that's harder, it's colder, I'm going to get frostbite, I've got to lift weight, but I'm with a team, and together we're going to realize that we actually have more inside of us than we ever realized, then God can give us new things. If we don't discipline and be faithful right where we are, we're not prepared for the next load we have to carry. If we try to circumvent any of that at any time, we will collapse.